this third chair right here.
Third, right here?
Yes, right there. I need to turn on that microphone and speak to you. The reason I asked you to come back in is during the last testimony of the last witness, it appeared that you fell asleep.
For an instant, yes, sir.
Okay.
I caught myself.
Do you have any idea of how long?
Instantly, I caught my elbow went off the chair instantly, and I got a little nudge. I felt like it was instant.
Okay.
It was the same exact lawyer talking when I popped out of it.
Okay.
Yeah, and I mentioned that inside.
Mentioned that inside.
I said, God, I can't believe I kind of nodded off. I said that to myself.
Okay.
I've been
do you,
on the ball the whole time.
yeah, hang on a second. With regard to the testimony, do you recall what the witness was testifying to, or the last question you remember hearing?
The ins and outs of the processes for the forensics.
Okay. Do you recall any of the individual item numbers that were discussed, or what was found or not found on those items?
Maybe not an item number, no, sir.
Okay. Okay, those are the court's questions. Counsel, do you have any questions? Mr. Long, Ms. Murphy?
You said it was on the background about the testing process?
Yes, sir,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay. All right. So have you heard the testimony so far about the results on the items that were tested?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm still not clear as to.
It was instant, Judge.
Okay. On behalf of Mr. Apodaca, any questions for our juror?
Yeah, so, I mean, I understand this is
Yes, sir.
a long testimony.
No, I'm very serious about this, sir.
Yeah, but you did hear what the conclusions were, right?
Yes.
Okay, and you just can't remember maybe some
It's
of
the
the
item
individual
numbers.
Okay. You said you dozed off instantaneously?
Yeah, I mean, it was a nod off, that's it. I caught it.
Okay. So, do you think you're gonna have trouble paying attention moving forward?
Absolutely not.
Okay. And, yeah, even if the testimony gets a little bit boring, because this is.
No, I'm very
This is a boring
serious.
stretch, something
Yeah.
the state and I will agree on. This is kind of a boring stretch, but it is important.
Yes, understood,
Okay.
absolutely.
Certainly the conclusions are important, and you were able to, can you tell me what you were able to garner from the conclusions?
Well, I understood that the forensics showed,
Objection, Your Honor. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay, that's fine.
inappropriate question as to what is.
Okay, as long as, yeah, I mean,
I'm very serious about this, yes, sir.
okay, thank you. That's all I have there.
Thank you. Just ask that you go back to the jury room with the others. Don't discuss this conversation.
Absolutely.
What it was about. Okay. If you'd bring the other juror in. Off the record until she comes in. I would just ask you to come up to the third chair there by that microphone. I need to get your voice. The reason I asked the bailiff to bring you in is during the last presentation, it appeared that you might have nodded off during the testimony.
No, sir, not at all.
Okay.
What would make you think that?
Just observations. I mean, I see people put their heads down. I see people close their eyes and don't know if they're listening but just not looking up, or if they've actually.
I'm sure that was it.
do
Not
you-
at all sleepy.
Do you recall the sequence, the questions and answers that were being given by the witness?
Absolutely.
Okay. Those are the court's questions, counsel.
No questions.
At any point, did you fall asleep?
No, sir.
During the testimony? Okay. That's all I have here.
If you just go back to the jury room for a moment, don't discuss this conversation with the other jurors.
Gotcha.
Thank you. Okay, outside the hearing, please have a seat. Outside the hearing, presence of the jury with counsel and Mr. Apodaca present. The first gentleman is juror number 8 on your list. Concerns, input, suggestions, first from the state and then for the defense with respect to the first juror we called in.
Your Honor, he said it was an instant nod off that he caught himself as soon as it happened, and it was during the background information on the DNA testing process, and he's otherwise been awake and paying attention. It appears to have been literally instant. So the state thinks it's appropriate to keep him on. We would just ask for the defense position. Sorry, I just put a cough drop in while we're outside the jury presence. We would just ask for the defense presence position under State v. Lujan. It's not a reported case. It's 2024 Westlaw 390000101. I think just having a clear defense position on the record preserves, it makes a clear record.
Absolutely, Judge. I think you remedied the situation. I mean, he did say, he was honest, forthcoming. He did, you said he briefly dozed off. He did, sounds like he remembers the conclusions, although not the specific, the numbers that you were asking him about. But I think, frankly, a lot of these jurors may not remember some of those specifics. So I think I'm okay now. I mean, Mr. Cameron is handling this witness and has handling a lot of stuff today. So I'll keep an eye on him, I do keep an eye on the jurors and just look over there. So I'll see if he's dozing off again. I'm pretty sure now that he's been brought over here now, he's probably not gonna. He's probably gonna make sure he stays awake.
Yeah.
You were just handed a key. Why is your gun out?
I just don't know what could be behind that door. Gotta be ready.
So officer, it looks as if you've just slightly entered the garage. Is that about as far as that you could go in?
Yes.
Now, the individuals that we saw arrive that don't have badges and guns, do you know who those individuals were?
Not by name.
Do you know what agency they were with?
The fire department, City of Santa Fe Fire Department.
And I asked you a little bit about, you went, just sort of just inside the doorway of the garage. Why couldn't you walk any further?
I don't know why I didn't go in, honestly. I think I was just grossed out.
Okay.
I don't know.
Do you remember, you said that you saw a body. Do you remember where that body was located?
Right by the door.
Okay. You said that her body was right by the door. Do you remember, was she seated? Was she lying down? Was she on the floor? Was she on a bed?
If I remember correctly, she was kind of like seated on the floor, her knees kind of up. And what really caught my attention is her head was, instead of like just being slouched over, it was like further down.
Being a cop. All right. On October 29th of 2022, did you respond to 5941 Jaguar Drive?
I did.
And what was the nature of the call for the response?
That initial call was labeled as an ambulance assist.
Okay. And did that information change as you were en route?
I believe not.
Approximately what time did you arrive on scene?
I believe the call was I arrived there about 1:45 p.m.
And when you arrived, were you wearing your body-worn camera?
I was wearing it, but it was not on.
What do you mean it wasn't on?
It was dead.
It was dead.
It was dead, yes.
Okay. Can you explain that to the jury?
It's towards the end of the shift. We had a busy shift. My camera was operating through the whole morning, afternoon. It ran out of battery.
Did you intend for it to run out of battery?
Oh, no.
Who did you arrive on scene at 5941 Jaguar Drive with?
With K9 Officer Alejandro Arroyo and now Detective Minor Romero.
Once you arrived on scene, how did you begin to approach that house?
We met at the front of the house, and then we split up. K-9 Officer Arroyo went to the right of the house. I went towards the left of the house, considered more or less the east side of the house, and I approached towards a wooden gate
Why were you approaching towards the wooden gate?
to see if I see anything, based on the call for service, if I see anyone screaming, yelling, pretty much cover more area. He takes the right side, I take the left, and we go on from there.
And as you approach that left side of the building, the gate. As you approach that left side of the building and the gate, what, if anything, did you see?
I saw a female coming out of a detached garage from the residence.
Do you recall what the female was wearing?
Black pajama pants with some designs and a black t-shirt.
Okay. From the time, did you see her as she was leaving the garage, halfway to the house, at the house? Where en route was she?
She was en route from the detached garage onto the main residence.
Okay.
Probably, I wouldn't be able to say approximately how many feet, but enough to where I could see her path.
Okay. When you saw her, what did you do?
I yelled contact.
What does that mean to yell contact?
It tells other officers that I came in contact with somebody. So usually they'll bring their attention towards me, or if I yell contact, most people will react contact, they look at you and they'll stop, and then we'll continue announcements from there, like police do not move or stop what you're doing, so on and so on.
Okay. After you yelled contact to your colleagues, what did you do?
Why I yelled contact, and this female she made eye contact with me, but she did not stop. She kept walking into the residence.
Okay. Go ahead.
I hop over the gate.
Once you hopped over the gate into the backyard area, what did you do, or what did you see?
I went to the backyard of the residence, went to the back towards the main residence, and I looked at the doorknob, and that's when I observed what appeared to be blood on the doorknob.
Okay. And based on that observation, what did you do?
I kicked the door in.
Why'd you kick the door in?
The call for service, the female just ignoring me, going to the house, blood on the doorknob. I have exigent circumstances to attempt to make entry into the residence.
Okay. Were you concerned about anyone's safety?
Yes.
After you kicked the door in, or as you were kicking the door in, I guess I should say, what happened?
A female came out yelling at me.
Okay. And can you describe whether this was an older or a younger female?
Older.
Okay. Did you eventually learn that female's name?
Lonnie.
Lonnie. And as you were kicking the door in and she began to yell at you, do you recall what she said just in the moment that you're kicking in the door and she yelled?
She pretty much asked, what was I doing?
Okay. And after did you fully kick in the door? Did they open the door? What happened next?
No, so it's a door with the glass frame, like a middle frame. So I was able to kick in the window frame, and she opened the actual door.
Okay. After she opened the door, what happened?
She's asking all these questions, and I take a step back. I explained to her the reason why we were there and the reason we were trying to kick the door in, and she was frantic. I mean, rightfully so.
Sure. And was there anyone else nearby, any other civilians nearby?
Yes.
Okay. And where was that civilian?
Behind Lonnie.
Okay. And was this a male or a female?
Female.
Can you describe that? Was that the same person that had exited the garage that you saw en route to the house when you arrived?
Yes, it was.
Right. And did you learn that person's name?
Yes.
What was that person's name?
Kiara.
We reconvene in State versus Apodaca with counsel and Mr. Apodaca present outside the hearing in presence of the jury. Was informed there's an issue we need to address. Counsel.
Yes, Your Honor. I don't know that we need to address it in full at this moment, but I wanted to alert the court. So as the court's aware, throughout the case, we've been regularly monitoring the defendant's jail calls. And after the first day of trial, he called his mother. We received that call yesterday morning and disclosed it to defense yesterday. We received 2 more calls to his mother from last night, this morning, and I believe have since uploaded those. Okay, we are in the process of uploading those. What I can proffer to the court based on a quick review of those calls is that he appears to be violating the rule of exclusion and discussing some of the ongoings in the courtroom, including yesterday some of the evidence that was admitted There's some coded references to the testimony of Lanny McCulley, and a number of issues of, related to activities within the courtroom. Again, some of it's somewhat coded or in shorthand, but there is active discussion related to evidence that was referred to or introduced yesterday. There's discussions about her upcoming testimony and things that he is.
Who's her?
His mother, Linda Montoya. As you're aware, defense has said that they would be recalling her in their case. She's still, and we had reserved her, and the court admonished her she wasn't allowed to talk about her testimony with anyone. Defendant, of course, has been present throughout the trial, hearing you admonish all witnesses. And so it appears that he has actively been violating the rule of exclusion, and she has been participatory in that violation. It's not ripe at this time. I'm not sure if defense intends to recall her, but should they, we will likely be seeking her exclusion. We would ask for the court to consider additional remedies as it relates to the defendant, and that would include an admonition not to have any further contact with his mother during the trial, and the court consider a elimination of phone privileges for the duration of the trial.
Counsel, I know you haven't heard all of the recordings. Have you reviewed the one recording that was referred to?
No, Judge, I will, was it disclosed with CMS, or?
Well, it's a recording, so it would have been through Axon yesterday's?
I didn't get a notification of that or anything, so this is kind of surprising to me. We were actually talking about Linda Montoya during lunch. We're likely not calling her back. But so it's maybe a non-issue here, but if we do, I need to listen to this jail call or these jail calls to know what the state is referring to. We've honest the defendant, we've told him not to be communicating with anybody who's a witness. I need to just,
She has a prohibition as well.
Well, she has a prohibition as well. I understand that, Judge. And I talked to we've told the defendant not to be communicating with witnesses in this case. I need to listen to those jail calls to see what the state is referring to. But right now we're leaning towards not calling Ms. Montoya, but calling Mr. Apodaca. That's where we're leaning.
Okay. And again, you don't have to make those decisions, but two things. One is make sure you provide and make available the, I guess now 3 calls that you've referred to, and also to make sure that we don't have any other potential for tamper. Counsel prepare an order suspending his phone privileges, and we'll get that issued and sent to the jail when they take him back today.
Yes, Your Honor. The other issue, the state doesn't take a position on this. I just want the court to be aware as the person in charge of the courthouse as it relates to this case. Ms. Montoya came to the courthouse yesterday and was seen anointing a large amount of courthouse, the doorways, some of the objects in the hallway with an oil and the sign of the cross. Those crosses are visible at some points in the hallway. My staff saw her do it. We don't take a position on that, but
Did she mark the building with a cross, or was she just?
no, the building, so the 2 entry doors here
Yes.
have oil cross marks on them.
Okay.
I know at least a member of staff noticed one of the benches in the hallway. I just felt that the court should be aware. We don't.
So, Judge, I will tell you this. I don't know if there's going to be some evidence that plays out in the next few days that could make it necessary for us to call Ms. Montoya to clarify something. But if the hypothetical, if the trial were to end today, our plan would not be to call Ms. Montoya. So 95% chance that we're not going to be calling Ms. Montoya back unless something changes through testimony or evidence that would make it necessary for us to call her.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what is going to happen with respect. So, if there's, my concern would be primarily if the jury saw her doing something like that, either in the building or in the courtyard outside of the building. They know who she is. She's already testified once before them, and both sides have reserved her for potential recall. So I'm not going to take any action. I mean, we've had people burn sage smudge sticks outside and, ground corn mill. I mean, things like that happen. But my concern is the impact it might have on the jury if they observe anything like that with respect to her testimony, which is outside of her activity outside of the courtroom that they may be able to observe.
Judge, is it okay, based on this, I could just have a conversation right now in private with Mr. Apodaca? Briefly, probably less than 5 minutes.
Yes, but he's not going to be talking to her anymore. So, I mean, if
Not material, I understand what they gotta do.
if you want to talk to him, that's fine. Let him talk in the back for a couple minutes.
And Your Honor, can that order also reflect a suspension of tablet messages? He communicates via essentially text message with his mother through tablets.
Yes.
Right.
Where else the record?
Two for a moment. That was the swabbing or the cutting of the inner waistband seam of the black pants.
Yes.
Okay, and you said that which 3 profiles were resolved from the inner waistband of the pants?
It was a DNA mixture of at least 3 individuals. Kiara McCulley, Isaac Apodaca, and Grace Jennings were all could not be eliminated as being possible contributors to that DNA mixture.
Okay, and what are DNA mixture statistics?
Statistical calculations are something that I perform as a forensic scientist to lend weight to an association. And so in this situation, because I have made associations to known DNA profiles, I'm going to list the statistical calculations to make sense of what this means with them being included in this DNA mixture. So when I'm looking at these statistical calculations, if there's a higher number, it doesn't mean that somebody maybe is from a particular ethnicity group. What I'm looking at is a range of different numbers from the 5 most common population groups of New Mexico, all random, unrelated individuals. I'm looking at both the highest and the lowest numbers. In this case, the numbers are 1,200 and 40,000 individuals. And so I would need to test roughly somewhere in the number of that range to find at least one other person who may also fit into that DNA mixture. So if I have low numbers, say 1 in 20, at least one other person in this courtroom might be a part of that DNA mixture. If I have a very, very high number, say 1 in 50 quintillion, it's a very rare number, and so I wouldn't expect too many people to fit into that DNA profile, even if I were to test up to that number of individuals. And so when I'm seeing in the range of approximately 1,200 to about 40,000 individuals, I would need to test about that many people to find at least one person who might fit into that DNA profile. So while there is an association and those individuals are included, it's not a super strong association. However, they are still included in that DNA mixture.
Okay, and you mentioned that these are broken, those statistics are broken up by population group.
Correct.
But that cannot reveal the identity of any of those individuals.
No.
So, for example, if it was 1 in 40,000 Apache individuals is one of the population groups, that doesn't have any bearing on the identity of these individuals.
It would not mean that the individual is, for example, Apache as your,
Sure.
What
are the population groups that you use here in the New Mexico?
They are Caucasian, Southwest Hispanic, African American, Native American, Apache, and Native American. I'm sorry, it's slipping my head right now. May I refer to my report?
Yes.
It's a lot of information to look at. Thank you. I'm sorry, Navajo.
And why do you use those population groups?
They're the 5 most common population groups in New Mexico.
Okay. I just want to ask, so of all of the items you tested, what is the only item that Isaac Apodaca was included or could not be excluded on?
Item
Objection,
2.2.
Your Honor. That question needs to be rephrased. May we approach?
Yes.
Re-ask a question. When you say cannot be excluded or cannot be eliminated, what does that mean?
When I make the statement that someone cannot be eliminated, it is an inclusionary statement. So that individual is included in that DNA profile.
Okay, thank you. And so going back to my question, what is the only item that Isaac Apodaca was included, or in other words, could not be eliminated from as a contributor to the mixture?
That would be item 2.2, which was the swabbing and cutting of the inner waistband of the black pants.
Thank you. A moment, Your Honor.